In a small, secluded grove, where golden sunlight filtered through the leaves, a young boy sat by the river's edge, plucking the strings of a lyre. His fingers, delicate but strong, danced across the instrument with natural grace, filling the air with melodies that seemed too profound for his age. Birds circled above, mesmerized, while deer ventured closer, their usual fear of humans forgotten. Even the river slowed its course, as if pausing to listen. This was Orpheus, son of the muse Calliope and the god Apollo. Music was not merely a gift to him, it was his lifeblood. From dawn till dusk, Orpheus played, and with each note he wove magic into the world. His mother once told him that his music could stir the heavens, and in time he believed her. As Orpheus grew, so did his fame. It was said that his songs could calm tempests, charm the wildest of beasts, and even soften the hearts of those who had none. Yet, for all the adoration and admiration his music garnered, Orpheus himself felt a longing deeper than applause could satisfy. He longed for love, a love that would resonate with the melodies in his soul. It was during one of his wanderings through the lush meadows of Thrace that Orpheus met her. Eurydice, a nymph as wild and free as the wind, with hair the color of autumn leaves and eyes like deep forest pools. She moved with an effortless grace, her laughter a melody that rivaled Orpheus's own music. From the moment he saw her, Orpheus knew she was the one. His heart, once only capable of expressing itself through the strings of his lyre, now beat with a passion he had never known. Their love was instantaneous and consuming. Every evening, Orpheus would play for her, serenading the dusk as they sat beneath the stars. His music had never been so sweet, and in her he found the harmony he had always sought. Soon after, they married in a ceremony blessed by both gods and nature. The trees bent their branches, and the wind whispered through the leaves as they exchanged vows beneath the sky. But fate, ever cruel, was watching. The day was bright, the sun high, when it happened. Eurydice was walking through the meadow, gathering flowers, when she felt something sharp on her ankle. Looking down, she saw the telltale flicker of a serpent's tail retreating into the grass. Panic surged as the venom spread quickly through her veins. She stumbled and fell, calling out Orpheus's name one last time before darkness claimed her. Orpheus found her body, cold and still, her once lively eyes now void of light. His heart shattered, and the world seemed to fall silent in mourning. He played no music that night. For days, Orpheus wandered in grief. The vibrant world that had once inspired his melodies now seemed dull and lifeless. No sound, no music could ever bring her back, except perhaps one. A mad idea bloomed in his mind, impossible but intoxicating. He would go to the underworld. He would face Hades himself and play the most sorrowful, beautiful song ever heard. Surely, not even the Lord of the Dead could resist. The entrance to the underworld lay deep in the bowels of the earth, a cavernous maw that swallowed all light. Armed only with his lyre and the weight of his grief, Orpheus descended. The path was treacherous, the air heavy with despair. He passed souls, pale and translucent, their eyes hollow with the resignation of eternal death. But Orpheus felt no fear. His love for Eurydice burned so brightly that even the shadows of the underworld seemed dim in comparison. He played as he walked, and soon the wails of the lost souls were replaced by the mournful echo of his song. The three-headed hound Cerberus, the fearsome guardian of the gates, laid down at his feet, tamed by the gentle strains of his music. At last, Orpheus stood before the throne of Hades and Persephone. The king of the dead, dark and imposing, watched him with cold eyes, while Persephone, the queen who longed for the spring, regarded him with curiosity. His fingers moved across the lyre like water over rocks, and his voice rose in a lament that spoke of love lost, of joy turned to sorrow, of hope that had been torn away too soon. His song painted a portrait of Eurydice, her laughter, her warmth, the way she danced in the sunlight. As the music filled the cavernous halls, even the dead paused in their endless wandering, listening. Tears formed in the eyes of Persephone, and Hades' stony expression softened. When the final note faded, the god of the underworld spoke. "You may take her," Hades said, "but only under one condition. As you ascend, do not look back at her. If you do, she will return here, and you will lose her forever." Orpheus's heart soared as he took Eurydice's hand. He could not see her, for she walked behind him, but he felt her presence. They began the ascent, moving slowly through the winding tunnels that led to the surface. His mind raced with joy and fear. She was so close, but the weight of Hades's condition pressed heavily on his thoughts. The darkness felt endless, and with each step, Orpheus's doubts grew. What if she wasn't really there? What if Hades had tricked him? What if this was all a cruel dream, a punishment for daring to defy death? The entrance to the living world was just ahead. A beam of light pierced the darkness, signaling their escape. But just as Orpheus was about to cross into the light, doubt overwhelmed him. His hand trembled on the lyre, and despite his desperate need to resist, he turned. His eyes met Eurydice's, her face bathed in the soft glow of the surface. She smiled at him, a bittersweet expression of love and sorrow. But before he could say a word, her body began to fade, dissolving into mist, pulled back into the depths of the underworld. Orpheus screamed her name, but it was too late. Eurydice was gone, lost forever. Orpheus emerged from the underworld, alone once more. His heart, once filled with hope, was now hollow. He wandered the earth, his music now a reflection of his sorrow, more beautiful and haunting than ever before. People whispered of the man whose songs could make the gods weep, but Orpheus no longer cared for fame or admiration. His one true love was gone, and nothing, no melody, no verse, could bring her back. In time, Orpheus met his own tragic end. Some say he was torn apart by Maenads, jealous of his refusal to love another. Others say he simply wasted away, his heart too heavy to continue. But when he passed from the world of the living, his soul was finally reunited with Eurydice in the underworld, where no conditions could separate them again. And so Orpheus's song lived on, eternal, a reminder of love's power and the tragedy of doubt. The tale of Orpheus and Eurydice has been told in songs, poems, and stories for millennia. It is a story of the fragile line between love and despair, hope and fear, and the irreversible consequences of doubt. And though Orpheus's fate was sealed with a single glance, his love remained undying, echoing forever in the melodies of the world.